What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So shit just seems to be getting worse and worse for Diddy Do It. And I think we know that he did. So now he's being accused of not only drugging, but assaulting a 10-year-old boy. So this shit just keeps getting worse and worse for him. I would never claim that Diddy, based on what we've heard, is in any way, shape, or form a good guy. But at this point, you have to start wondering, are people just piling on now? Or are people who have had any sort of association with this guy at any point in the past, all sitting around with light bulbs going off and dollar signs floating around their head saying, I can get a high profile interview out of this. I could get a book deal out of this. I could get this out of this. I could get that out of this. I could get possibly some pain and suffering compensation. I mean, I'm just saying we live in that sue happy day and age where people will do just about anything to get ahead, bro. Just about anything to get ahead. And there are absolutely people out there that have never been touched by Diddy, but would 1000% let the world think that they got drugged and graped by him. I put it that way because I don't want to get demonetized. Drugged and graped by Diddy just so they could get some of this. I mean, there's been people to sell their souls to the devil for a lot less. Am I right? So we're going to look at this is a video from ABC News where they're talking about these new charges being brought against him. Just gives a little detail on it. So we're kind of going to talk about that. Then we're going to go over to the most recent claim by Diddy's defense team, claiming that now the video of him violently assaulting Cassie Ventura in the hotel is not admissible in court. It wasn't him. It wasn't him. No, the video depicting him. You'll see. You'll see. We're going to go through all of it. So before we get started, if you would, please do subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it. It really helps the algorithm. Also like the video and leave a comment if you feel led to do so. And if you have an opinion on this, most people do. All right. Without further ado, let's get started. So I believe it is, okay, I believe it's this one right here. All right. So let me share this to you. Went black for a second. All right, here we go.
Disgraced rapper Sean Combs facing 2 new sex abuse lawsuits as he sits in a jail in New York City, held without bail. One accusation from a man who claims to have been just 10 years old when he performed for the mogul in a hotel room. Then someone else in the room allegedly gave him a soda that made him feel, quote, a little funny. And then he says Combs sexually assaulted him. The second suit from someone auditioning for Making the Band who alleges he endured multiple sexual assaults by Combs at the age of 17 during the 3-day audition. Both civil suits filed by the same attorneys who have said they are evaluating claims by scores of alleged victims. Combs has denied all allegations and has pled not guilty to criminal.
All right. Oh, man. All right. Drugs, lies, and freak offs. Not drugs, lies, and rock and roll. Not drugs, lies, and videotape. Not drugs, lies, and sex parties, but drugs, lies, and freak offs. Freak offs, y'all. All right. So I have some thoughts on this. I mean, I can't wrap my brain around it. It's to a point now where there are new charges being piled on, literally one on top of the other, almost more than once a day now. So my thought process is, how does he have enough time in the day to do all of this mischief? Now, listen, I'm not saying Diddy is a good guy. Please, because I don't want to get dragged through the coals. I don't want to get dragged through the coals. I'm not saying he's a good guy. I'm sure he's a horrible person. It sounds like he was a control freak. Sounds like he was completely self-centered, hedonistic asshole that only cared about himself and used and abused others for his own self-gratification continuously throughout his reign as a music mogul for Bad Boy Records. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But it also does get to a point where you feel like it's one of those civil lawsuits where, you know how you get one of those emails where it's a civil lawsuit and they're like, hey, you can sue this company because you had a credit card with them and now they're being looked at for fraudulent activity. You can get some money out of this. And you're like, oh shit. And then you read that it's a $30 million lawsuit. You're like, oh shit. But then what you realize in the end of the day is there's about 100 million people filing the same claim. And then to the end of it, everybody gets like 20 cents. So I'm just saying, you know, it gets to be one of those things where after he gets dragged through the legal system and paying all this, you know, these high priced attorneys and this and that and the third, all of his money and assets are going to be completely vanquished. All right. Vanquished, not vanquished, vanquished. Is that the word? Vanquished. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So it seems like to me now that we just got a case where people are just piling on. Oh, well, you know, I was around Diddy for, you know, 20 minutes back in 2007. I'm going to say he did XYZ to me. And I mean, all the hot water he's in right now, they're probably going to believe it, to be honest with you. Right. So I think could be a little bit of that going on. Now, listen, I'm sure there are plenty of people, and I've heard tons of interviews, read tons of articles that do seem credible, do seem believable, and I can see potentially being substantiated in this case, right? I'm just saying at some point we have to get to a level of discernment to where we're like, okay, now I think it's at a point, because where were all these people before, guys? Where were all these people before? With all of these accusations, oh, Diddy did this to me, did that to me, he drugged me, and he assaulted me, and he, you know, violently R-word me, and it's, you know, I mean, you don't hear anything, and then all of a sudden, this videotape about him assaulting Cassie Ventura comes out, which we're about to get to, and now all of a sudden, everybody and their brother and sister and mom and aunt and uncle all have been drugged, assaulted, or something else negative by Diddy. I'm just saying. So I think at some point we kind of have to start looking at this like, okay, you know, where were you at before? Because I mean, I'm losing count. I'm literally losing count of all of the different, you know, charges that are being brought against this guy right now. So now we're going to look at this article here that talks about this situation with his defense team now saying that video of him beating the ever-loving shit out of Cassie Ventura is not even admissible in court, which I just think is crazy. There's so many loopholes in the legal system. It really blows my mind. It really does. Okay. Let's start at the top here. A video showing Sean Diddy Combs assaulting his former girlfriend not leaked to CNN by federal prosecutors because they didn't have it at the time. Prosecutors insisted in a new overnight court filing. The defendant argues baselessly that a video depicting it's depicting him, guys. Jesus. Depicting. Okay. Depicting in and of itself has a meaning of like inferring, insinuating. You know, those are some synonyms of depicting. You know, depicting kind of means it's not real. It wasn't really him. That that choice of word to me is just asinine. It was you, bro. We saw you, bro. It was clearly you. It was clearly Diddy. I mean, this reminds me of the R. Kelly situation. Remember when R. Kelly, had when that first famous video, that explosive video, the one of him with an underage girl, which this is really messed up, but the video, and she's all, bent over this way, and he's behind her, and he's, trying to get himself right to do the deed, and this dude's gonna come out afterwards. That wasn't me. That wasn't me. We looked right in your face, bro. We looked right in your face, dude. I mean, you have very unique eyebrows, very unique features. There's only one R. Kelly. It was absolutely him. It was absolutely you, bro. We looked right at you. And he tried to pull that card about it wasn't me. I mean, it seems to me like that's what's going on here. They're using the word depicting, a video depicting the defendant's assault of a victim, when we know who that victim was, at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles on March 5th, 2016, was provided to a media outlet by government agents, the filing said. Prosecutors urged the judge overseeing the case to reject Combs' requests for an evidentiary hearing, calling it nothing more than an attempt to quash a damning piece of evidence against him. Without any factual basis, the leak motion seeks to suppress highly probative. Yeah, that's pretty appropriate for this particular case, I would say. Highly probative evidence. A video of Combs brutally physically assaulting a victim in March 2016 that was published by a media outlet in May 2024 by claiming that it was grand jury material leaked by government agents to CNN. But as the defendant is fully aware, the video was not in the government's possession at the time of CNN's publication, and the government has never at any point obtained the video through grand jury process, the filing said. So I want to read this last sentence again. As the defendant is fully aware, the video was not in the government's possession at the time of CNN's publication, and the government has never at any point obtained the video through grand jury process. So basically, what they're trying to pull right now is, well, this came out through CNN. The government didn't have this first. The grand jury process, or the grand jury, or the government, or the justice system did not get this video first. Therefore, if it was leaked by CNN, they cannot ensure that somehow this video wasn't, prior to being leaked, tampered with, that is somebody else. They're using somebody, because you can't see his face all that clearly on the video, is somebody else doing this assault, or somebody took the video and edited it to make it look as though it was Sean Puffy Combs, Diddy Combs, whatever his name is, doing this crime, right? I mean, we all know this freaking just grave loophole in the law, right? Everybody knows it's him. It's absolutely him, right? Not to mention, Cassie Ventura has herself claimed and has herself submitted tons of, how many times did she call the police on him? How many times did she say that he did this to her, did that to her, was violent with her? And there are other videos indicating the same thing. And it just blows my mind that what they are saying now is that this video is not admissible because it did not first leak through the grand jury or the governmental processes. CNN leaked it first. Therefore, it wasn't Diddy. Basically, is what they're saying. Defense attorneys have argued the purported leaks interfere with the ability of Combs to get a fair trial. Prosecutors also urged the judge to reject Combs' request to force them to reveal the identity of his accusers. No shit, because the guy's been known to fuck with people. The guy's been known to threaten people through acts of violence, through acts of coercion. You know, I mean, he's not a good guy, man. He's a person who has used his power over and over and over and over throughout his career, his power and money and influence to get what he wanted, and did not mind stepping on as many skulls as he had to along the way. It's obvious that that guy is this way. So no wonder they're not wanting to reveal the identity of his accusers. He might still have some right-hand man on the outside that can go and get rid of people for him. You know, and I'm sure that's what I'm sure that's what the defense has fears of, to be completely honest. The defendant's request for victim name should be denied on the basis that it is tantamount to request for early disclosure of the government's witness list, something he is clearly not entitled to at this extremely early stage of the proceedings, prosecutor said. Moreover, early disclosure of witnesses is especially unwarranted here, where there are serious concerns of witness safety and obstruction, right? So they're concerned about Diddy being able to pull some strings on the outside and either harm these people or, you know, make a phone call to somebody on the outside and say something to them about pizza boxes. And then the next thing you know, somebody gets, or one of the witnesses ends up coming into some large sum of money, or of, you know, $50,000, which is large to some people. You know, I mean, that may not be to Diddy and to some other people in the music industry and in Hollywood, but, you know, some of these people that he crossed paths with back in the day and supposedly assaulted are not necessarily millionaires now, but maybe they want to be. You know, so if somebody on the outside comes to one of them like, hey, here's 50 grand, you know, pull back that statement, say that it never happened, that you were coerced into saying that by so-and-so and so-and-so, whatever, and just take it all back. Here's the 50 grand, go be happy. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they're scared of happening. Prosecutors accused Combs of attempting to co-opt this criminal proceeding to defend against civil litigation filed by anonymous accusers, right? So the accusers are anonymous, and you can understand from Diddy's perspective, you know, all these people are piling on now saying that he did this and that and the third. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But from his perspective, he's like, wait, who said what? You know, and he's trying to go back through all the data of the people that he fucked over and did this to and did that to, and that he had drugged, and that he tried to get him murdered, and this and that. And he's trying to think of all this, and he's like, wait, what? You know, he's in there scratching his head like, who was? Oh, that wasn't. That's not exactly how that happened. You know, and so from his perspective, you can absolutely see why he would want to know what the names of these accusers are. But I mean, it's just where we are, man. And I want to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments. Do you think at this point people are just kind of piling on, trying to get something out of it, trying to get a high profile, high paying interview out of it, you know, with a big name company like ABC or NBC, or, you know, get on some of these major podcasts where there's millions and millions and millions of followers, and they're going to get on there and tell their story, and then their name value goes up as a person who was previously by Diddy, right? I mean, I think there's some of that going on at this point. Obviously, it's too early to know for sure, but I mean, that's just where I am. That's where I am with it. And as far as the video depicting Sean Puffy Combs beating the shit out of Cassie Ventura, is again just another asinine loophole in the system. Because think about it. If that video becomes admissible or becomes not admissible in court, then literally, he can't be charged for that. Can't be charged for it, even though we all saw it. The world has seen it. And he got on and made a video, a fake ass. I've never seen anything so fake in my life. That wasn't me on that video. You know, comes a point in your life where, you know, you hit rock bottom, you know, and you really have to look at yourself. And I apologize to anyone that was hurt by my actions. And all I can do is just try to be a better man each and every day. Like, shut the up, dude. I mean, you could look on that guy's face. He was trying his best. I mean, thank God his thing was music and not acting, because he was trying his best to muster up any sort of emotion, any sort of remorse or affect on his face. I don't know if it's because he was too jacked up on opiates, or he just is just a hedonistic psychopath and he's not able to feel emotion in regards to, you know, pain felt by other people. I don't know what it is, but this mofo, you could tell by looking at his face, he didn't give two rats asses about what he did back in 2016. He just thought, you know, because he's lived this luxurious, you know, lifestyle where he's been able to get by with this, that, and the other because of who he is. He just thought that if he got on and, you know, gave some sort of an apology, it was just all going to go away and everybody was going to stop talking about that. And then the rest of this stuff wasn't going to come out. That's what he thought. And it was a stupid move on his part because people saw right through it. But it's ironic how he actually did that video apologizing for the actions of him on that video, beating the shit out of Cassie Ventura. And now they're claiming that video depicts him and it could have been tampered with and it may not even be admissible in court. You got a video of the guy admitting to it. What are we living in, the Twilight Zone? I mean, what's going on here, man? Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all this. Let me know if you think people are piling on at this point, or if there is some merit and truth in all of these different accusations that are being levied against Diddy right now. And I would appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the video as well and like it a lot. All right. Appreciate you guys. Hope you have a good evening, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.